perhaps tornado damage, and in many areas flooded conditions throughout our service territory. But these men and women will work extended hours, 16-hour days in some pretty difficult conditions, and as I mentioned, they'll work around the clock until power is restored to the last FPL customer. Thank you, Governor DeSantis and the state, for being here and supporting us, and for the emergency declaration, and for all of the men and women who have traveled in to help us respond to the storm. Thank you.
Okay. All right, David.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you, Governor DeSantis. I just want to assure all of our customers that we are executing our plan. We have already deployed, as the governor mentioned, resources across the entire state who are ready to respond. I also want to take the opportunity to remind our customers and the general public to keep safety top of mind. FPL, we consider safety our #1 priority, and we want to ensure that our customers know that we're working around the clock to safely and quickly restore power to our customers. And I want to assure our customers that they know that we will not stop until every customer is restored. Again, thank you very much, Governor.
Okay, thanks. Dane?
Well, I want to thank Governor DeSantis for his leadership. I've spent the last few days at the Emergency Operations Center, and while this storm is unbearable to watch, I have a lot of faith in knowing the team that he's assembled that's ready to launch across the state. We've seen there in Tallahassee and here and elsewhere. I'm the Secretary of the Department of Economic Opportunity, and at DEO, we support communities, businesses, and Floridians, and this is especially true during a disaster event like a hurricane. Right now, we are hosting daily calls with our private sector partners to get real-time updates on emergency supply inventories, supply chain issues, and business closures and other critical information to give Floridians access to the latest information. We are sharing these updates in real time at www.floridadisaster.biz. That's www.floridadisaster.biz, as well as key resources and toolkits for businesses before, during, and after. Florida, so this is incredibly hard to watch. But as I mentioned, seeing what the governor and the teams across, my prayers, my thoughts are with everybody back home. And the message is the governor is organizing all this to ensure safety. Your safety is the primary point of all the work that's being done. So when the storm does pass, whether you hunker down or evacuated, if you've evacuated, please wait. Don't go rushing back home. Wait for the utility crews, wait for the first responders to clean up, and wait for the signal from your local officials to do so. We're going to help you. We've got your back. We're going to make sure that your communities rebuild, but your safety is priority at this time. Thank you to Governor DeSantis for his leadership.
Jimmy?
Thank you, Governor. Thanks, Dane. Urban search and rescue teams, 5 of which the governor has mentioned, Florida-based teams, have been stationed and pre-prepared in order to roll in as soon as it is safe. We have 5 FEMA teams that are out-of-state teams that are here to create a total complement of 600 boots on the ground, pairs of boots on the ground. That includes trauma surgeons, engineers, and also canine units, in addition to shallow water boat vehicles. These groups will enter into those neighborhoods of the affected, devastated areas. As soon as the roadways are clear, they will literally be riding right behind DOT and forestry vehicles as the roads are clear, going from door to door, neighborhood to neighborhood, administering their life-saving services based on the missions of those devastated areas. Please understand, they will make repeated visits. They will be doing welfare checks. In the following days afterwards, our office will be setting up insurance villages in those affected areas where the insurance carriers will set up. They will be taking claims. They will also be issuing emergency assistance based on the terms of your policy. I cannot urge enough. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. Do not sign anything when anybody comes to your doorstep providing any type of services on behalf of your of any services you might need. Your first call needs to be to my office at 877-MY-FLCFO, your insurance agent or your insurance carrier, to start the claims process. Also, be wary of GoFundMe scams that will emerge after this. Hurricane Ian is going to be an incredibly emotional, tragic event, and it will bring predators out that will prey on your generosity. So please consider using other forms of donation: Samaritan's Purse, Salvation Army, Red Cross. Be skeptical if anybody is putting anything out on GoFundMe, because there's no transparency there or where those dollars are going. Again, please stay safe. We will endure this together. Governor, thank you for your leadership.
It's important for people to just be reminded that when the storm passes in your area, there's a lot of hazards that happen after the storm. And more recent storms, not as strong as this, have seen more fatalities even in the aftermath of the storm than from the direct impact of the storm itself. So don't mess around with standing water. If you see any type of cord or electrical, do not go anywhere near that. That could be very, very hazardous. Don't try to drive your car in flooded streets. That is not a recipe for success. If you are using a portable generator, that exhaust has got to be outside of your home. If that exhaust is inside the home, you could get carbon monoxide poisoning, and we have had fatalities as a result of that. So just understand the impact of the storm is going to be enormous. There's obviously some people who are in harm's way by choice, having hunkered down in their areas. We're praying for them. Obviously, there's going to be rescue efforts made as soon as it's safe to do so. But once the storm hits and passes, it is going to be a very hazardous environment still. We're going to be trying to get these guys in to be able to do what they have to do, but they need to have a safe environment to work in too. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's going on, particularly down in those southwest Florida counties. Other thing I would just say is this is a major event. It's going to be a tragic event in many ways, but it's something that we are going to dig in on. We are going to be there. We are going to stand with the people who are most affected, and we understand this is not just a 48-hour ordeal. This is going to be something that is going to be there for days and weeks and months, and unfortunately, in some circumstances, even years. But that's just what we're called upon to do. So we'll be standing there, and we will marshal the resources that we need to be able to serve the people that are most affected by this. I want to thank the men and women who are standing behind me right now. You have a job to do, you work, you put food on the table for your family, and in normal situations, most people don't think much of it. You just assume that you're entitled to have power in your home and all the different necessities and conveniences of life. In reality, there's a lot that goes into this, and it's in situations like this that we realize how significant it is, and so their efforts are going to make things a lot better for a lot of people than they otherwise would. So on behalf of the state of Florida, all the linemen, all the crew personnel, everyone involved with all of our utilities, FP&L and all of them, we just want to say thanks. Thanks for coming in from out of state. Thanks for being staged and ready to go in and restore services. Thanks so much.